which goes when you become an entrepreneur. Lot of things goes inside you and outside, maybe in front of you, with your team, with your startup, with all the things you are going against or going ahead with. So there have been a lot of things everyone knows which goes through a phase of a startup. But what makes the most important impact is the product and the team, which I guess everyone would agree to. Without these two things, you cannot move forward as a startup. Now, why do we have this topic like build a team and an environment in a bootstrap startup? Like this seems to be a very big title kind of, and why is it like building a team? So there are a lot of entrepreneurs here who might have found this issue. It's a very important issue which everyone faces when they start out their new venture. It's difficult to build up a team, to set up that right tone, to set up that right environment for all of your team members, so that it goes in a very good way, and there's no even if they doesn't work out in your startup, you are still on a very good note with them, and for sure they'll help you as a friend as well. So yeah, there is the brief about what I'm up to. Now the most important point is like, how do you build a team? Everyone says कि यार team तो ऐसे बन जाएगी. You go here, you go there, you get people, you talk to them, you give them stake, you give them some kind of money, and they'll come on board. That's it. That's a very simple story. But this is all like talks. If you go on the ground level, you know it takes heck of a time to find the right co-founder, to find your core team members who will take that responsibility and drive through the projects, the work you're doing. So all these things are like, it's very pretty simple when you talk, but then it's really difficult to execute on the field. So let's do like what actually goes on when you try to build up a team. Like the first question arises is like, what factors do you consider when you are hiring your team members? Now there are a lot of factorizing when you go into like everything in a startup is all about planning, factorizing, trying to categorize, and all those stuff. So basically the first thing is like factorizing, like what kind of people would you hire in your team, and what all factors are dependent so that you get the right set of people in your team. You cannot say the perfect people, but the right set of people and the right mindset of people. So let's see. First thing comes as the budget. So there are a lot of phases of a startup which goes on, and maybe you all at each of your stages are like somewhere someone is building a product, someone is reaching out to investors and pitching their ideas to investors and getting that fund. So everyone is at a different phase of a startup. Now why do budget comes into picture? The most important point here I would like to make is that budget decides whom you should target. You cannot randomly ask anyone, like a guy who has 20 years of experience in the IT industry. You go and you talk to him and you say that, sir, I want you to be my co-founder. Would he agree? He won't, right? You won't get someone like 20 years of experience on your board just by saying that, sir, I want you to be on my on my startup directors list, or you I want you to be a co-founder. That's not how it works, right? That's not how the industry or the startup arena works. You should first consider your budget. You can of course try out of your scope that, okay, let's try this guy. If he comes on board, I can offer him some stakes. But that is again, I'll go through the factors which I've listed down. So first and foremost is the budget. Like, do you have the budget to onboard someone of that thing? So budget also define that what can you offer him if he comes on board. If he is a kind of part timer, even what kind of things you can offer him so that he stays with you, even for say 6 months or 8 months of period of time. So that budget, or you could say a barter system, is very important when you're trying to find a team member. Okay. It also depends on whether you're just trying to find a co-founder, you want to try out a new core team member who would look out after sales, or you could just find a new team member who would do development or like play in sales. That is the first important thing. Secondary, the industry. So you must have been see, your past experience would be in some other industry, you are doing something in different industry. Now you don't know about the industry. What can and the important point is you don't have any contacts in that industry where you are pitching up your startup. So where do you go about it? So that industry point is very crucial. Like, there are several tools where you could go out and see which are people which will benefit you and the startup from that industry, who understands the industry and the perspective of what your startup builds up. The next is the experience and the expertise. Now there are hundreds of profiles on LinkedIn, you could say, who says I'm the motivational speaker, I'm the 10 out of 10 entrepreneur. Everyone had their own taglines, and everyone tried to justify why they are the best. But what differentiate is when they talk, there is the real difference. Anyone can put whatever they want on their LinkedIn profile, but when a person speaks, his knowledge is tested. You could actually understand when a person is talking. So that is a factor. And as I said, the startup stage. So where is your startups going? Like, is it in a product launch stage, or is your MVP still in progress, or you're trying to find investors? So these stages also matter, and what kind of budget and industry you're looking out also matters when you're trying to consider hiring a team member. So let's go ahead and see what do we have next. So yeah, the next important question everyone has is like, okay, I understood what are the factors I need to understand. Okay, but where do I find these people? Where do I get these people? मुझे ऐसे हवा में तो नहीं मिलेंगे, right? I need to find them somewhere. Where do I find them? So as a startup entrepreneur, you need to network a lot. Networking is the key. So you need to attend a lot of online and offline seminars, webinars, conferences, meetups, or even some networking sessions where you just interact with startups. So that is where you go, you talk to people, you tell them what you are working, they tell them what they are up to. And if there's a connection, if there's something where it clicks, that okay, this guy is interested in my product, he wants to understand my product, and there it goes on. So that is how a connection is built. That is how you try to understand the other person, and that is how you understand whether he is a good fit for my startup or not. So so that is one point to it. Then you need to actively participate in all the groups over Facebook, WhatsApp. You see a lot of people there. Some might post shit, but then a lot of people post a lot of knowledge they have gained over the years. If somewhere there you could connect your expertise and his expertise, or somewhere someone likes your idea or your comments, and you take that conversation forward on a personal level, that is where you understand, okay, this guy is pretty interested in this kind of stuff. Let me pitch in this kind of ideas and see whether he's a good fit for my startup. So that's how you again, it's like you network, you interact with new people, you discover new people, you understand their abilities, and then you try to understand whether he can be a good fit for my startup. And the next, I would always suggest anyone get your office in an incubator or an accelerator or a co-working space, because it also affects the environment part, which I'm gonna tell you afterwards. But the main important part is like you are connected to several people. You are inside a community, and that community would have a lot of people, a lot of different people, where you can be easily finding a right set of person. Now right set of person would also mean that not just he's hungry to say learn or grow in that sector, but he's ready to take that risk which you have taken. So one more suggestions: if you are trying to find out your core team members, they should be really identical to you in terms of the growth factor, like the way you try to see growth, the way you learn, the hunger they have to strive for the growth factor and the learning factor, and the way you take those risks while you are taking some kind of decisions at a very crucial time. If they are very very similar to that point, then you understand, yes, this is the right person I should have in my team. Even if he's not that great with his knowledge, you know that he'll capture it out. He'll take some time, but he'll come up with that knowledge. But he'll surely have that fire to come up and take that risk and have that passion to do the work. So yeah, all this point, again, these are points which is being mainly related to my journey. That is what I've jotted down, and I assume most of you must have gone through the similar ways to find out your team members. So, is there any questions? Anyone? Any doubts before I proceed further? Like, I was feeling I was doing a marathon right now.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's not you. If you are trying to find some team members, and they have so many ways, like online webinar, offline webinar, Facebook group or WhatsApp group, anywhere. So which way is the most efficient way to find the highest people with highest quality?
What is the best way? I would say is someone. See, we are humans. We love interaction. Even if we interact online, we don't get that confidence on the person until we meet him officially, like personally, one to one.
Okay.
So, networking events would be the best, where you interact with a lot of people in a very short period of time. Of course, you exchange some cards, but then at the same time you need to have that 2 minute of fruitful conversation with that guy, so that you gauge his attention and you again take it offline and talk to him whenever he's available. So and then you can meet over coffee, you could have some lunch together, and you understand, okay, what is this guy about, what is he up to, what are his career goals, and where is he want to go. So most probably, being humans, we love meeting each other and understand person to person, rather than on online seminars. Like webinars are still good, but then the conversion takes some time. Like it takes a little effort to put that trust on that person. But when you meet someone, that trust is built automatically when you talk to him, when you understand the person, how he talks, how he interact, how he understand you. So all these things would matter a lot for anyone. So I would suggest, when you're talking to someone one to one, that's the greatest way of finding a team partner.
Okay, all right, got it. One
Yeah.
more question is that I'm very curious about the job seeking market in India. So
Mhm.
I'm from China, and in China,
Mhm.
they will have one platform which is called maybe Talk to Boss. They
Okay.
provide good resume for the startup company, maybe the founder like you who
Mhm.
have maybe a middle size company, and so it will be very easier for them to hire people on that platform. So when you are talking about the way you are trying to find a team member, so I didn't get any platform or application which can provide the kind of service and for the people like you, for the founders who have maybe middle
There
sized company in India.
there have been several platforms. See, in India, you could say, like, you'll get tens of hundreds of platforms where you could find the right set of people. But then again, as I said, we Indians, most not Indians, but we humans love interaction. When we talk to another person, when we meet him personally, we have more trust on him than the person who's who's on Facebook or who's on one of WhatsApp, and we're just trying to get his attention. So we have ways of online things, but that works out only when there's a situation. Like if someone needs a graphic designer or a digital marketing expert, right now he cannot ask someone to come and meet. But what can he do right now in this lockdown situation? He can have a video call, he can talk to him, and then he tries to understand whether he's the right set of person to work with, or he's the right set of person for my startup or my company. That's how it works out. So not every time, like, okay, sometimes it's not the right way to go and meet a person, but then uh, that happens. Like people have their initial discussions before having a coffee meet, so that they're in the second or third phase of the conversation, rather than just the first one where they haven't yet talked to each other on a phone call or on a video call or on a WhatsApp. So that happens over the social network. But then to build that trust, which we take usually to understand a person, that happens via the offline mode.
Okay, all right, got it. Thank you.
uh, Now I feel there's finding the team members is what everyone would now know, and everyone would rush to the other seminars and webinars which has been going throughout this lock-in. Now, the very important question arises, like, okay, I can get the team members, I can get the core team members, but then how do you get the right person, right, the right co-founder? Because you alone cannot run a company. It will take a lot of time, a lot of efforts, and sometimes you'll cry in a corner. So you need that partner who would take some of your work, and you two or three or four of you would distribute that work and take your company forward. But how do you connect to a person, and how do you find the right set of person that would help you out to lead this startup? So it's a very similar story I had, and I guess some of them might have the same. Some of you might have a very different story of how you met your co-founder, or how was your first interaction with your co-founder. But then going through this journey, I've been seeing a lot of startups at the incubation center, and seeing how they got their own co-founders in their own way. And again, there's a lot of differences, because I come from a technical background, and more of the entrepreneurs I have seen comes from a non-technical background. So for them, finding out the right technical co-founder is the challenge, and for me, finding out the right non-technical co-founder is the challenge. So there's a difference. Again, those two more of the startups want as the co-founders the one who knows the technical, the one who does knows the non-technical, and then they start building up the team. That is how the process goes on. Some might even have what you say, a virtual co-founder kind of stuff, or a virtual CTO who would take care virtually. But then I don't know how successful is that model. So let's see how do you get the right set of co-founder. I just put up some pointers which I have seen. I had my own processes and ways to work out. I have one of my co-founder here, I guess. Is he here? Let's see. No, he's not. So yeah, um, connect on small partnership basis, like part-time work or intern or an outsourced project partner, and then make. See, this is very straightforward technique. We do with agencies, we do with partners, we do with the sister companies. This is how we all start on a very small basis. We try to understand how the interaction, how the communication, and how the chemistry goes on with someone. So that is how you start with someone. So for me, it was like Gunarjan, who's my another director at VPS. We had a similar situation where he joined in as an intern, not as an intern, but as a part timer who would work on the sales part, on the business development. and that is how we carried along. And then over the period of time we understood that okay, he's not just a part timer, but he's more into understanding the startup and taking it forward and taking all the responsibilities to make this bigger and bigger. So over the period of time, we'll understand who is the right set of person who will take it forward. Sometimes you might feel that okay, this was the right person, but then he left in between. That happens a lot. I've been part of that as well. But then understanding that not everyone's gonna be with you every time is what should be your mindset, and you should always have that okay, I have the right set of people, let's take it forward. So that is how the partnership basis works out. You work on a very small project, you understand the person, how he delivers and how is he's taking the responsibility. Is he a risk taking person? You analyze his personality and you see whether he's a good fit for a startup, because we all know that startup doesn't work the normal way. It requires a different level of efforts from each of the core person who are trying to build that startup. And if you are in the early days of it, where, like 3 to 4 years, you all need to put up that efforts to bring it to a level so that people could recognize you and the startup. So yeah, that's point one. Point two is I have already given you a clue that your co-founder should have that entrepreneur mindset. He should be a risk taking person. He should have that. uh Sorry for the glitch, guys. Yeah. So the more of the point is that, see, being an entrepreneur, you have that fire to build that product and take it to the next level. Until you also are working with understanding the market and where do the market is going and where is your product going. But you need that kind of person who will understand that risk, who will also take that risk at some point of time. And he should have that mindset of an entrepreneur. He cannot say that okay, I'll work 9 to 5, tell me what kind of work I do. If you have that kind of person, that then I don't think it works. It never would work. So you need to choose the right set of people. That if they have a mindset of 9 to 5, I would rather say don't take that person in, even if you just want an employee, because you need a different set of mindset to be in the startup arena. Yeah. Next is that you evaluate the person and his working style. I've seen a lot of people who are like two different set of people. Like they are in the same startup. They both are entrepreneurial mindset people. They both have the fire in them. They both have different views, but sometimes that views doesn't match. And that is where you need to understand in the initial phases itself when you're working with that person, that do you build a chemistry. At the end of the day, the output matters, the result matters. If you just say that I got the right set of person, he's got that energy, he's got that vibe, and he's a risk taking person, and he understands and he wants to grow and he wants to learn, and he understands the startup, but then is he having a good chemistry with you and the team members? If not, then again, that's not the right choice of person you want to have in your team, because he might be right in his places, but then that's not how you're gonna start up grow. So you need to again, it's more of being an entrepreneur. It's more of a HR person. You're trying to understand the personalities, what goes through a person when he joins you and all. So there's a lot of research and analysis in the background of your mind when you're talking to a person and wanting him to be on your side. And then even once you get that person and his personality and the chemistry, so while having a conversation with that person, there would be some kind of thoughts or visions or understanding of a subject where you guys connect and you come to a single point. uh, like uh, I would like to give an example here. So it happened with me and Gunarjan, where we were trying to pitch to Mohan Foundation. Now, I had no idea of what Gunarjan had thought in his mind and what he was trying to pitch to the person sitting opposite us. And I was just trying to understand what he was trying to pitch, because I had no idea what the other person was doing and what they are up to as a organization. So I was just sitting and trying to understand and trying to analyze like what the person and Gunarjan is trying to talk. After some period of time, I understood what Gunarjan was thinking and where was he heading the conversation to, like where was the conversation going. And after some period of time, I also started talking and putting up my thoughts in that conversation. And at the end of the day, when we were out of that meeting, we understood that although we had different mindset, but then our thoughts or our understanding of that subject was somewhere connected. And that is how being partners, being co-founders, you need to always test that is there anything your co-founder and your you matches on a subject. So that subject and the thought process and that vision, somewhere it should match. So that was my example of why it connects you on a specific subject. So I guess there's a lot of uh, gyan or knowledge I've given in this 3 slides I'm talking about. I don't know how much is useful for each of you. What all things might work in your situation, might not work in your situation. I'm really looking forward to hear from you guys that what worked out for you and what didn't. And yeah, the next part is very important because everyone knows that having a team is a really good thing, and you have the right set of people. But then, how do you retain those right set of people is the biggest question, because you can get the greatest mind in your company, but then if that doesn't continue after 2 months, then it's a very big loss for you because you're losing the greatest mind in the business. So setting up the environment is the issue which a lot of companies, MNCs, have been trying to solve. And then there are a lot of startups who have presented themselves as an example, and they have led the way of setting up the right set of environment for the team so that they grow personally, and that personal growth also it also enhance the company's growth. So these are all my personal points. I do a lot like these. Those who know me would know this. We do a lot of these things, activities. So work is work. Like you do it day and night. There have been activities. There have been times when we were like sitting for 2 days and 2 nights to get the work done. And then the kind of chemistry you have with the team. Uh, just an incident I would like to share. There was a project where we needed to complete by 2 days, and we were on a very hectic timeline. And then the technical team sat down, and we were like very ready that we'll do the whole day, we'll do the whole night, and we'll go in the morning at home, we'll take some nap, and then we'll come back again and work out. So that was the whole scenario of getting that work done. That was the planned thing we had. But what about the non-technical people? What would they do? Uh, they would have their own work, right? But how do they contribute to you so that your team spirit doesn't go down? Like, see, if they get out of the place, they are not doing anything to the team. On our part, what happened is like our co-founder Gunarjan, he thought of entertaining the team for some period of time as the day went off. So we had like continuously we were working on like for 7 8 hours, and then we thought of taking a small break where we'll have some snacks, we'll have some talks for 15 20 minutes. That is where he ordered snacks for us. He tried to entertain us through his jokes, through his PJs. and that is how we who were very very lethargical at that whole period of time, sitting for 7 8 hours and just coding and coding. We were little energetic after that session, and after that we again started it out. So that kind of environment setting up, not just by you, but almost all of the team members who are with you, they should have that environment and that spirit of setting up the right environment. So yeah, when you go, let's see the pointers I put it. So when you are with the team, you need to be a team member. So this has been happening a lot with me. There have been several times when someone from outside comes and he cannot recognize me that I am not. I'm not a. They won't recognize me as a founder or a CEO. I would just be a disguised person like any other team member, and then when they call up that I want to talk to the founder of the startup, or I want to talk to the director of the startup, that is where then I stand up, and that is how then I need to differentiate myself. So there has been times when people were finding me out, like, where is your founder, where is your co-founder, where is your director? And I was very I'm always a team man, and I always sit my team, and I try to understand their problem. I sit with them, I talk a lot with them, I enjoy with them. That is how I try to connect with them apart from the work we do. So there are few activities we do on a very daily basis, like uh, if we are doing not so important task or not so concentrated task, we play music in the background, we play songs in the background, and we sing along. We do our own karaoke so that we are all in it, and we connect to that song, or we connect to that music. So that's one part where you try to connect with your team. Secondly, there are a lot of activities you could do online, offline, and I would always prefer offline, because again you are trying to connect with people. So as we were there in the incubation center for around 2 years, uh, we were playing cricket, we had karaoke's, we were going for a TT session. So yeah, a lot of people know that we converted our conferences room into a TT arena, and we used to challenge other startups as well. So that is how we try to keep the environment pretty cool. And we myself have come up from a college background, and I don't have a work culture environment where you go to a 9 to 5 job and you just be there, sit there, and do the work and then go home. So I know how to enjoy those moments. Like, there have been moments where the electricity goes out. So what do? We have a cricket bat, and we have a cricket ball, and we take that and we go out onto the ground and we play cricket. So that's the kind of thing we do, so that we interact with each other apart from the work we do, and we try to connect with each other apart from the work topics we have, that इसने ये काम किया क्या, उसने वो काम किया क्या. So out of that, we still connect on very different levels. We see if someone is cracking a very lame joke, and we say, यार कितना पकाता है. So that happens a lot with us. And yeah, we do a lot of karaoke's within our offices. Outside, if there is a competition, we go out. We go out on a basis, or like within a 2 3 month of period of time, we go out for a team dinner, or we go out for just a normal outing. There's no we sometimes we don't need a reason for go out. Sometimes we order a cake and we celebrate for no reason. So been doing some activities where we try to connect with each other. We see that once we connect with each other and we try to understand what's the situation at the other end, we can get the right point for the person, and we can ask him for more what he can do from his end. And if you are in such an environment, your productivity increases. That is what these setting up of environment means at the end of the day, because you want your team to go and get their work done, but at the same time you want your team to also realize that they are not just doing a work, but they're also playing it, like you're They are finding the work as the play work, and they do it very easily, in a very sophisticated manner. So yeah, that is all about setting up environment. Uh, Adik, do you have anything to add to this part? Maybe I might miss out on anything, or Shubham might also have few things to it. If Shubham is here, Shubham,
No,
do you
you
have
can go.
anything?
No, you can go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. Adik, do you have something we missed out? Nothing. Okay. So yeah, all these activities is what sticks your team together. And I don't want to brag that we had the best of the team. Those who know me and my team would know that we had the best of the teams all the time. We had a very good culture as a team. Everyone respects each other. There's no surgery calling. We respect each other, and we take the name, and we understand that who respects you, and then trying to connect on a personal level if they have any kind of personal issues where you might help. So all these things is what uh, you as an entrepreneur, as a founder, would need to keep in mind all the time, because it's a never ending job. Until your startup is not done, you are still doing all those jobs simultaneously in the back end. So yeah, that's it. So if you still have any thoughts on this, I'm up for it. I'm also up for any questions you have, or any similar incidents you had in your startup. So I'm eagerly waiting to listen that as well. Adik, you have something to share? You can unmute yourself. Zo, do you have something to share, or you have any questions?
No question now. I think we can have a discussion based on the hiring for the startup company, right?
Right. Anyone else who has any questions on this?
Yeah, so basically, how much time did you take for finding the proper co-founder? And so, how how long was it?
For me.
Uh,
So yeah, I had my two first co-founders in my college days itself. But then yeah, they were not the right set of co-founders. So I still got them up because I wanted to start it out. I got them up in the team, but they pretty soon left me. But yeah, but just before that, I went to actually I went to the inauguration of SPTBI.
oh,
That's the incubation center of SPIT. So that is where I found Gunarjun, who was there in that. It was the inauguration session, and it was a very interesting day because there were a lot of sessions and activities that happened on that day. Design thinking session was also there. So over there you could talk to a lot of people there. You understand their startup, you understand your personality, how you are talking to people, and that is how I met Gunarjun. And then there's a different story for Prutha as well. But yeah, that is how it takes some time. You go to events and you just try to discover people, new people, and what are their fortes, and how they are going in their personal life, and if they can add any value to your startup. So that is how you just need to search it out. Mine was like uh, uh, my engineering was completed in May around, and I went to this inauguration in June around. So pretty much a kind of month, I guess. But I haven't been doing anything else.
so so while so being a tech guy, how could you manage testing non-tech guys? It's pretty difficult to uh, start trusting as in they are going to handle the business, the money, and uh, also orders and stuff.
Right.
So it would have been a little uh, difficult.
See, the first thing is once you hire someone as a co-founder or someone as your director, you need to trust them blindly. You literally need to trust them blindly. Like even if they say that transfer 1 lakh rupees to my account, you need to trust them blindly because once you understand that person, that is why you have taken them as a co-founder or as a director. And then that itself is a process. If you are not follow the process, then you are in the wrong direction. But if you have follow the process, you have understand the person, and you pretty much understand that yes, this is the right set of person, I should work with him or he should be in the team, then you should blindly trust him. Okay, whether it works out in your
So before
scenario or
choosing
not.
the co-founder, I'm saying, like you are figuring whether I should choose him as a partner, I should take him as a partner. Like that's
So
what I.
before you get the non-technical co-founder, you are asking how do you handle the non-technical side of it.
No. How do you how do you find the proper non-tech co-founder? Before
uh,
finding also you need to trust him. Like yeah, ये आगे जाके like after starting together he'll be performing well and uh, you'll have a good chemistry.
so you need to trust your instincts. See, that's very basic. Like see, you at a period of time you can talk to 10 people at a single moment of time. Then you can try to understand that which person is very genuine, which person is the right person, जो ज़्यादा show off नहीं कर रहा है, who is not doing कि मुझे इतना stakes चाहिए, who's not running behind money right now, who's also proportional कि मैं इतना करूंगा, मैं इतने I need इतना stake or I need this much. That kind is like, that guy is like very what do you say, he's very calculative. Okay, that he understand, he wants to get into your startup, but he'll do XYZ roles, and he would require Y% and he would require X amount of salary. So those kind of people are like very calculative person. So do you want calculative people in your team? So if you think yes, I need someone who is a calculative person, not as a sales person, but someone in the operations or person who will handle my finance, who'll see the calculative. Like if you are not the person who is always taking that risk, but you need someone who's take that calculated risk so that your business goes on. Because maybe sometimes you are not able to take that risk because you don't handle the sales part, but then someone who knows that sales and who takes that sales risk, you can always have him. So I think I've answered your question.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any questions?
So actually, before I start up, our company have one HR who is in charge of hiring staffs in Indian, and
Mhm.
and he used Naukri generally to get the resume on the platform.
Right.
That's generally, you know, the resume he received from the platform is not good enough. So
I feel sometimes you cannot judge a person from his resume.
yeah. So actually, I think that it will be more easier for us to find people from maybe some certain webinar, you know,
Yes.
conference and some community. I think it will be easier to find maybe the qualified people compared to some you know job recruiting platform.
Actually, so there are a lot of new startups who are coming in this arena. Like you might have heard of Work India. You might have heard of. There are a lot of hundreds of job portals in India where I don't know what happens in the back end, but yeah, you get a lot of if you are a employer, you get a lot of CVs there. So, but being a startup guy, I feel that's the very traditional way of hiring people.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like talking to a person, you can actually understand whether that person is the right person you want in your team or not. Because sometimes okay, see, if it's a tech guy, he would write up that he has done this things and he has done this of years of experience and everything. But being a startup, you need everyone to talk. If that guy is just able to code and he cannot talk, then you are losing out on that opportunity, because there are hundred of people in that same industry having same kind of experience or maybe better, and who could also talk. So
Okay.
having multiple skills in a startup arena is very important, even if you are a coder. That is very important when you want to grow, because then in the initial days itself you are doing multi roles, and then once the growth happens, you grow from from 0 to 1. That is where you need that core team to take all those responsibilities, because then you're not just getting like 2 or 10 orders, but then you're getting 100 orders. And how do you cope up with that, and how do you take the care of the operations part, and all those things happen in the background. So you need that team to be adaptive. When my startup goes from 0 to 1, they should be doing multiple roles and not just a one role they are looking at for.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So I don't have any question. And any other have question for Prem and Nam?
Gunarjan, do you have any question? Let's see who all are there in this webinar.
No, I don't have any question. Thank you.
You joined in late. I had your name twice or thrice in this conversation.
Thank you. Hope I can see the recording. I have not. I want to see the recording. I was late.
Okay, I will share in the recording when we finish the session. And we have already recorded the video. I will share with you when we finish it.
Yeah. So I guess the questions are over. No one has any questions or doubt. So let's conclude, I guess, for this session. I hope it was some kind of useful session. Who was there here listening me out? Maybe we can take a personal AMA if you want. I'll be there up, and any doubt you have, we can always talk on personal. But hope the clarity is there on the session we had, and the topic we had discussed. So yeah, Zoe, you can go forward for the conclusion.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Preminas. So thank you so much about the insights and experience about how to hire people for a startup company. And I think our session has already time is up, right? And we're gonna finish our session. And I shared one WhatsApp group link in the chatting box. And it's a group for startup, and you can find the startup, follow and discuss anything related to startup in the WhatsApp group. If you hadn't joined our group, you can join it now. And I think that it may be the time for you guys to have dinner, right? Okay, all right. So
Yes.
Okay, let's just maybe stop here, and you can enjoy your dinner, and good night. Okay.
Yes. And thank you so much, Zoe and Insight, and all of you for this session.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we have so many problems and things we can discuss privately, right? Based on hiring startup in your market.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so let's just end it here, and I will share the video records when we finish the session. Okay, and so
Yes.
good night for all of you today.